Discover the incredible truth: 10 nations facing hidden crises that will change lives forever. In a quaint American town where family-owned businesses lined the cobblestone Main Street, there lived a resilient single mother named Kelly. At 35, she juggled 2 jobs, working long hours at the local diner, where the smell of coffee mingled with the sweet aroma of fresh pies, while also striving to keep her late father's hardware store afloat. Every day, beneath the neon glow of the diner sign and the faded paint of the store, she fought battles no one else could see. In the heart of her was Jake, her 10-year-old son, with his freckled nose and big blue eyes that sparkled with hope. To him, Kelly was the sun and the stars, defying every hardship with laughter and love, yet, there was a weight she carried: financial instability that loomed like a dark cloud over their simple life. Kelly poured herself into her work, juggling orders of burgers and fries while mentally drafting plans to save her father's shop. The whispers of the town often stung, fueling her resolve. She was determined to build a brighter future for Jake, away from the judgments that came with her circumstances. As the town faced an economic downturn, businesses shuttered and families struggled. Frustrated and inspired, Kelly felt a spark ignite within her. She decided it was time to take a stand. She organized a community forum, inviting veterans, seniors, and families. Her voice, though small, rang with urgency as she reached out for unity in their shared plight. The night of the forum, the air was thick with anticipation. Laughter and tears filled the hall as neighbors shared their stories, bonds of common struggle weaving them closer. But not everyone embraced her vision. Hard work should lead to success, some shouted. Kelly's heart sank, the air crackling with tension. Yet just when she thought hope was slipping away, a teenager in the back captured the moment on his phone, creating a spontaneous movement that lit up the internet. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The video went viral, prompting a wave of support, and soon Kelly and her neighbors found themselves at the heart of something larger than Main Street. A conversation sparked. The parallels of their struggles echoed across 10 distant nations facing unseen crises. Kelly felt an urgency grow within her, a desperate desire to expand the dialogue beyond their borders. Yet doubt haunted her. Would the persistent skepticism from some townsfolk unravel the unity they built? As she prepared for the upcoming larger forum, internal conflict roared. She missed her estranged brother, who had chased success away from their small town, and wondered if their family's history paralleled the struggles of the community. Would he come back? That night, as the townsfolk gathered, shadows played on their faces. Just when the air felt too thick with unanswered questions, the screen flickered with a live feed from a global summit. It lit the room with stories of justice, merit, and second chances. Kelly's heart raced. Was her brother in there? Would he finally return, or was she destined to battle the tides alone, fighting not just for her family but for everyone? The glow from the screen illuminated the faces of everyone in the room. All eyes were glued to the broadcast, and Kelly felt an electric thrill pulse through her veins. This was at the moment she had been waiting for, the chance to connect, to engage, and maybe to understand. As the speakers shared their own stories of struggle, resilience bloomed in the air. She could see it in her neighbors' faces, the flickering of hope igniting within them as the realities of their shared experiences were laid bare, but just as quickly as that hope surged, the room was filled with the skepticism she feared. This doesn't solve anything. Someone shouted from the back, arms crossed tightly across their chest. A murmur swept through the crowd. Doubt crept in like a thief in the night, stealing the lightness that had taken hold moments ago. Kelly's heart sank again. Why was it so hard for some to believe in the possibility of change? She felt frustration bubbling beneath her skin, but she pushed it down, willing herself to maintain composure. Then, she took a deep breath and stepped forward into the dimly lit room filled with familiar faces. "We all have our stories," she began, her voice steady despite the uncertainty curling in her stomach. "We struggled. We fought. But just like those people on the screen, we can choose to lift each other up instead of tearing each other down." People shifted in their seats, glancing at each other, hesitant yet intrigued. It felt like standing on the edge of a precipice with the ground shaking beneath her feet. As she continued speaking, her words flowed outward like ripples in a pond, touching the anxiety and desperation intricately woven into the fabric of their lives. "Somewhere out there, they're just like us. They have families, jobs, hopes, and dreams." She paused, looking deeply into their eyes, hoping to penetrate the walls of doubt. "If we can unite, what we have here in our town could mean something much bigger, something that resonates across our nation and beyond." A dull silence settled, and for a heartbeat, it felt as though the world held its breath. Then, the teenager who had recorded their forum took the microphone. "What if we make our own stories viral? What if we show that our little town has the strength to fight?" The room erupted into an array of cheers and applause. For the first time, she saw faces light up with excitement, the anxiety fading as half-smiles transformed into full expressions of belief. Those small cracks in the skepticism began to widen, letting light seep through. Later that night, as they wrapped up, Kelly felt a wave of elation wash over her. Maybe they could make a difference after all. It was a small step, yet it felt monumental. But as she returned home and climbed into bed, the exhilaration thudded against an unsettling thought: was her brother in a position to join this fight? Would he see the value in standing with his family, rather than standing apart? Just before sleep whisked her away, her phone buzzed. A notification from a social media platform showing a video post from a familiar username. "I'm back, Kelly." It read. Her heart raced. What did that mean? Could this really be the turning point she'd been longing for? With the dawn creeping closer, excitement flickered in her chest, reminding her that the journey was just beginning. As the sun painted the sky in soft hues of orange and pink, Kelly awoke with a jolt. Her phone lay next to her, the message still shimmering in her mind. "I'm back, Kelly." It felt like a lifeline thrown to her in a sea of uncertainty, and yet, the unknown made her stomach twist. Was it her brother reaching out? The thought sent waves of hope crashing against the walls of her apprehension. She swung her legs over the side of the bed and sat in silence for a moment, grounding herself in the present. The world outside was waking up, and she knew she had to face whatever awaited her beyond these four walls. She grabbed her phone and hesitated before opening the notification that promised both answers and more questions. With her heart pounding in her chest, she clicked the link. The video played automatically, and her breath caught in her throat as a familiar face flashed on the screen. It was her brother, Jake. He looked different, older, more worn down, but there was a spark in his eyes she hadn't noticed in ages. "Hey everyone," he began, his voice shaky at first, but steadying as he continued. "I'm back, and I guess I owe a lot of you an apology." He looked directly into the camera, and Kelly's heart ached as she sensed the weight of his words. "I've been hiding, from my family, from everything. But last night, I watched something that changed my perspective. Seeing my community come together, realizing that we can fight for something greater than ourselves, it lit a fire in me." As he spoke, thoughts swirled in Kelly's mind. Was this the spark she had been waiting for? Could she reach him, join him in this fight? "I know I've let you down," he continued, his voice breaking for a moment. "But I want to be there, to help make a difference. I want to stand with all of you, not just run away. I want to be a part of whatever comes next. I'm in. I'm all in." Tears brimmed in her eyes as his final words echoed in her heart, resonating with a truth she had yearned to hear. The video cut off suddenly, leaving her breathless. How had this moment unfolded so quickly? It was as if a dam had burst, flooding her with relief and uncertainty all at once. Kelly couldn't shake the feeling that things would never be the same. She quickly crafted a response, her fingers flying across the screen. "Jake, I was just thinking about you. Let's meet up and talk. I need you to know you're not alone in this." As she sent the message, a ripple of excitement pulsed through her. What would come next? Would they truly unite, rebuild their family, and battle against the shadows that had haunted them for so long? Only time would tell, but at that moment, she felt a shift in the air, a possibility that perhaps those who had been lost could find their way back. With each passing second, the foundations of their world appeared to be shifting precariously. Was this the turning point in their story? And if so, what else would be unearthed in their journey together? The sun climbed higher in the sky, bringing with it a new day, full of potential and the weight of unspoken promises. Kelly stepped outside, uncertainty still brushing against her heart but accompanied by a flutter of hope. As she wandered into town, she spotted familiar faces engaging in animated conversations about that very night's forum. The movement was developing. Would she and her brother reclaim their place in it, or would they be left behind once more? With every step she took, the pulse of urgency thrummed in her veins. One question remained: how could they ignite the fires of change together? And would that change be enough to transform not just their lives but the entire town? Kelly walked through the town, the sounds of laughter and chatter blending with the morning breeze. The air felt charged, electric with the possibilities of the day ahead. She glanced around, surprised at how alive everything felt, a stark contrast to the loneliness Jake had spoken about in his video. Community, connection, it was all right there, and she wanted so badly to be a part of it. As she approached the cafe, she spotted Sarah, her childhood friend. Sarah looked up and waved, her face lighting up with a smile. It felt comforting, grounding, like a piece of home. "Hey Kelly," she called out, rushing over with a bounce in her step. "Did you see the video? Jake's back. Can you believe it?" "Yeah, I just saw it," Kelly replied, trying to match Sarah's enthusiasm. "It feels surreal, doesn't it? It's amazing. Everyone's buzzing about the forum tonight. People are ready to step up and take action like never before. You should come." Sarah's eyes sparkled with excitement, and Kelly couldn't help but feel a flicker of hope sparking within her. "I'm planning on going. I need to see what he has to say," Kelly said, her heart racing at the thought of being in the same room with Jake again. Would he truly be the brother she once knew? Was he ready to fight? As the two friends settled in with their coffees, Sarah filled her in on the details of the upcoming meeting. "They're planning to discuss how we can unite the community. There's so much happening, Kelly. I just know it's the start of something big." Kelly remembered the lifeline Jake had thrown her way. Maybe he was ready to fight alongside her too. "I was thinking, it might be good for us to share our stories, you know? To show everyone we can overcome." "Yes. Exactly," Sarah exclaimed. They shared ideas, diving deeper into how they could contribute, how they could encourage others to join them. With each suggestion, Kelly could feel a weight lifting from her shoulders. It was empowering, this idea of collective action, but amid the excitement, a fear gnawed at her. What if Jake wasn't the brother she remembered? What if he struggled? The last thing she wanted was to feel disappointed again. It felt like a tightrope walk between hope and trepidation. "Have you thought about what you'll say to him?" Sarah asked, banking a look of curiosity. "When you meet?" "I don't know," Kelly admitted quietly. "I just want him to know I'm here for him, no matter what. But also I want our family back. I don't want to feel lost anymore." "Kelly, it sounds like you're really ready for this," Sarah said gently. "Whatever happens, you're not alone. We're in this together." That moment standing there with her friend, surrounded by the warmth of coffees and possibility, made Kelly realize she had a choice. She could either stay behind her walls of doubt or step out into the light of change. But the choice came with its own risks. As the afternoon wore on, the sun slanted through the cafe window, illuminating the face of every person busily preparing for the evening's forum. It struck Kelly just how pivotal this day could be. And as each hour ticked closer to the meeting, she wondered if this was the beginning of rewriting their story, or if it would end up breaking her heart all over again. What if they weren't ready for the truth about one another? What if the things they buried were not so easily unearthed? The questions hung in the air, just as the much-anticipated evening would soon bring to light unforeseen challenges. As dusk settled over the town, the sky painted in hues of orange and purple, Kelly walked toward the community center. The air was filled with an excited buzz as people gathered in small groups, sharing stories, laughter, and anticipation for the forum. She could feel her heart pounding, each beat echoing her thoughts of Jake. At the entrance, a familiar face caught her eye: Jake's old friend, Mark. He waved her over, his smile a mixture of joy and nerves. "You made it. Everyone's ready for this. It's kind of wild how much energy is in the room." "Yeah, it feels like the whole town turned out," Kelly said, her hands fidgeting as they stepped inside. The hall was packed, chairs lined up, signs of encouragement adorning the walls. As she scanned the crowd, excitement danced with anxiety inside her. What if Jake's arrival didn't herald change? What if it was just another letdown? She pushed those thoughts aside, trying to focus on the moment. "Hey, you look nervous," Mark said, nudging her playfully. "Jake will be here soon. Just remember, it's not about the past, it's about what we can do now." "Right," she replied, though doubt prickled at her thoughts. She didn't want to be that girl anymore, the one who stayed quiet, holding on to sadness. She was ready for a fresh start. The room hushed as the clock struck 7. Eyes turned towards the stage, and Kelly felt a rush of adrenaline. She found Sarah in the crowd, giving her an encouraging nod. Letting out a deep breath, she prepared herself. This was her moment, too. Then Jake walked in. He didn't look like the boy she remembered. He seemed older, a little more worn, but there was a fire in his eyes. The crowd erupted in applause, and Jake raised his hands, urging them to calm down. Kelly's heart raced, wondering, more than ever, what he was going to say. "Thank you all for being here," Jake began, his voice steady yet warm. "I know I've been away, but I want to be part of this community again. We have everything we need right here to come together and overcome so much." His words struck a chord within Kelly, unraveling an emotional tapestry of childhood memories intertwined with regret and hope. As Jake spoke about unity and fighting for their town's future, she felt the walls she had built around her slowly start to crumble. Suddenly, Jake's gaze drifted through the audience, landing on her. For a moment, it felt like they were the only two people in the room. His eyes softened, and with a slight smile, he continued, "We've all faced our own battles, but that doesn't mean we can't keep fighting together." Kelly felt tears prick at her eyes. This was the Jake she'd always known, the passionate, determined brother she hoped would return one day. But the lingering question hovered above her like a storm cloud: was he truly ready to confront the past? As the audience erupted in cheers, Kelly could barely hear the noise. The energy inside her surged, battling between hope and lingering doubt. What would it take for them to really heal? When Jake invited everyone to share their stories, her heart sank. Was she ready to speak her truth? And would he be willing to listen? "Kelly, you should go," Sarah whispered, nudging her gently. But as she stood on the brink of stepping into the light, Kelly hesitated, gripped by fear. What if the truths they revealed threatened to tear them apart instead of bringing them closer? With every set of eyes in the room darting towards her, the weight of their expectations pressed down like a heavy cloak. Breath caught in her throat, she prepared to face the most difficult question of all: was she ready to confront not only her feelings but Jake's hidden struggles as well? The moment of truth approached, and everything hung in the balance. Kelly's heart raced as the moment stretched like an elastic band, ready to snap. The warm, fluorescent lights of the community center felt oppressive, and every ounce of her wanted to flee. She glanced over at Sarah, whose encouraging smile flickered like a beacon in the murky waters of doubt. The crowd was buzzing, a sea of anticipation. Jake's voice had faded, but his eyes, those hopeful, searching eyes, remained locked on her. "I can't do this," she whispered to herself, her pulse quickening. "What if I ruin everything?" But in that very instant, something shifted. Kelly could hear the faint whispers of childhood memories mingling with her fears. The laughter, the games, the moments when they were unbreakable. Deep down, she understood that each of those memories was tied to Jake, a thread weaving them together even through the silence that had lingered for years. Taking a deep breath, she stepped into the circle of light that illuminated the stage. The moment she moved, the buzz in the crowd dimmed to a hush. She could feel the weight of their gazes as they awaited her words. With shaky hands, she clutched the edge of the podium, her heart thundering against her ribcage. The words tangled in her throat. This was harder than she thought. Jake's expression was warm but serious, urging her on. "It's okay, Kelly." That simple comment grounded her. "Okay," she mouthed, brushing back tears that threatened to spill. "I've been scared. Scared to talk about everything that happened, scared to admit that I still care." A murmur passed through the audience, heads nodding in empathy, as if they could feel the weight of her truth. Kelly swallowed her fear and took another breath. "When you left, Jake, it tore us apart. Not just you and me, but the whole family, the whole town. But in this absence, I realized something. I don't want to hide anymore. I want to be honest about how much I missed you." Expressions shifted in the crowd, understanding dawning like the sunrise from a long night. Kelly pressed on, emboldened by their support. "I've been holding on to anger, thinking it would protect me. But all it did was build a wall. This isn't just about you. It's about me forgiving, too." As the words spilled out, she felt an unexpected release. With every confession, the walls around her heart seemed to dissolve. She could see Jake's eyes shine with unshed tears, and for the first time in years, she felt seen. "I want to fight for our town again," she declared, her voice growing stronger. "Not just because of you, but because of all of us. We have the chance to rebuild, to support each other. But I can't do this alone. I need you, and I need all of you." The crowd erupted into applause, a wave of energy washing over her. Jake stepped forward, his expression one of awe. "You did it, Kelly. You found your voice." But before she could respond, a commotion erupted in the back of the room. Chairs rustled, voices rose in confusion. Someone pushed through the crowd, a stranger with a frantic look in their eyes. "You have to listen. There's something we need to discuss about the future of this town." The atmosphere shifted instantly. Questions rose like smoke, and Kelly felt her heart jump again, this time in a mix of excitement and fear. What could this stranger be about to reveal? As curious whispers filled the hall, Kelly held her breath, unsure if she was ready for what was coming next. Could this news change everything once again? The stranger's urgency cut through the applause, their frantic energy a jarring contrast to the emotional release Kelly had just experienced. She could feel the crowd's anticipation turning to confusion, curiosity spiraling into worry. It was unsettling, and the moment she built seemed to teeter on the edge of collapse. The stranger, an older man with tousled hair and wide, earnest eyes, clutched a folder to his chest as he stepped further onto the stage. "Please, I need your attention," he implored, raising his voice above the murmur. "This isn't about politics or the past, it's about survival." Kelly stole a quick glance at Jake. His brow furrowed, eyes filled with questions mirroring her own. What could he possibly mean by survival? Her heart raced with trepidation. "Just yesterday," the man continued, his voice steady but full of urgency, "I received this report from the state. There are dire changes coming, changes that could affect our town and every one of you in it." He flipped the folder open, revealing graphs and reports. Funding for health services, for infrastructure, even for community programs is being cut. They're planning to close the school if we don't take action now. A sharp gasp rippled through the audience, and the murmurs grew louder. Kelly felt the air grow thick with fear and uncertainty. She had just stepped forward to bring people together, and now there was a new battle to fight. Without our school, the man continued, children will have to travel far away for education. Families will leave. Jobs will vanish. We need to organize a town meeting, a rally, we need to show them we won. Just stand by. Kelly's heart sank. She wanted to do her part, to fight for the town she loved, but the weight of this new challenge felt like a mountain. It was one thing to unveil her feelings, to mend her own heart, but confronting a crisis that could rip the community apart? Suddenly, she felt like she was back to square one. Sarah's hand found Kelly's, squeezing tightly. We've got this. If anyone can lead us through this, it's you, she whispered, her eyes sparkling with determination. The stranger's passion ignited something in the crowd. Voices rose, discussing strategies and ideas. Kelly could feel the energy building, hope intertwining with fear. And in that moment, she realized that fear could also fuel action. You're right, Kelly shouted, stepping closer to the man. We can't just let this happen. But how do we start? The crowd hushed, all eyes on her. The man gestured with a fervent nod. We organize a meeting. Gather everyone. Our voices are our strongest weapon. We can petition, write letters, make noise. But we need to unite, fast. Kelly took a deep breath, the warmth of the spotlight now feeling like armor instead of a burden. Okay. Let us do it. We will meet tomorrow, and I expect everyone here to come with ideas. Somehow, we'll make them listen. The crowd erupted into cheers, a swell of fervor that sent chills down her spine. They believed in her, in them, and for the first time, she felt like she might not just be a voice, but the heartbeat of this town's revival. But as the cheers echoed around her, a chilling thought settled in. What if it wasn't enough? What if they faced more than just indifference? The stranger's words echoed in her mind. This was about survival. Would they be ready for what lay ahead? Would they have the strength to stand together when the time came? With those thoughts tumbling through her mind, she faced the crowd. They were all counting on her. Could she bear this weight? The moment of truth was looming closer than ever. The room buzzed with excitement, but beneath the surface, anxiety simmered like a pot ready to boil over. Kelly stood at the edge of the stage, heart pounding, eyes scanning the crowd. They were on fire with passion, yet she felt the weight of the unknown pressing down on her. Voices rose and fell, yet one thought kept returning: what if they couldn't pull this off? Tomorrow, at 6. She shouted, trying to guide the crowd's energy. Let us talk about actions we can take. Together. A nervous murmur filled the air. Everyone began to mumble about their own plans, worries merging into a chorus of discontent. The stranger looked down at his papers, urgency still etched into his features. Please, don't underestimate the time we have left. News spreads fast. We need to act now. Kelly stepped off the stage, and as she descended, people slowly approached her. Questions flooded in. What are we going to do? Do you think they'll really listen? Is it too late already? Each question pierced her resolve. She wanted to reassure them, but she couldn't shake her own uncertainty. We'll brainstorm tomorrow, she offered, forcing a smile. We're in this together. Just then, Jake caught her arm gently, pulling her aside. Hey, he said quietly, are you okay? You really look a bit overwhelmed. She laughed nervously. Yeah, you could say that. Think about this, he said, his voice lower as he leaned in. What that guy said? It's a wake-up call. We could change his lives if we pull this off, Kelly. Don't lose sight of that. His words wrapped around her like a warm blanket, igniting a small spark of hope. You're right. We can make a difference. She paused, trying to collect her thoughts into something coherent. What if we fail? Jake's eyes softened. Then, we'll figure it out. You're not alone in this, the whole town is behind you. You might be a leader, but you don't have to lead alone. Kelly nodded, though her thoughts remained a tangled web. She felt buoyed by his support, but doubt crept back. What did it really mean to lead a community in crisis? As the crowd began to disperse, she caught sight of the stranger, still standing near the stage, his expression unreadable. I need to talk to him, she muttered, moving toward him. Good luck. Jake called, encouraging her with a smile. Excuse me, she said to the stranger when she reached him. I'm Kelly. I just wanted to thank you for bringing this to us. It's important. Thank you, he replied, a breath of relief escaping him. I've seen too many towns crumble under silence. You have the chance to be the voice that makes the difference here. But I don't know where to start, she admitted, feeling exposed. Start by listening, he advised earnestly. Find out what matters to the people. Connect their voices to yours. His words carved a path through her uncertainty. Kelly felt a surge of strength, a flicker of clarity. Please, take this, he said, handing her the folder. Here's everything I found. Spread the word and reach out. You're capable of leading them through this. Holding the folder tight against her chest, a whirlwind of emotions rushed through her: fear, determination, and an unexpected thrill. Thank you, she breathed, staring down at her notes. As the crowd thinned and night fell, a sense of purpose emerged within her. Tomorrow would be the start of something big. But as she contemplated her next steps, a shadowy thought lingered: what if the town had already lost too much? With the weight of the folder heavy in her arms, she felt the protective barrier turn into a shield and a burden at once. Was she truly ready to bear this responsibility? And just like that, the moment of truth began looming ever closer, daring her to step into the unknown. The early morning sun peeked through Kelly's window, casting a warm glow around the room. She had barely slept, her mind racing with thoughts of the meeting later. Those words from the stranger echoed in her mind: connect their voices to yours. But how? She was just a girl from a small town, not a leader, not someone meant to carry such weight. With a deep breath, she pushed herself out of bed. Today was a new chance, a blank canvas waiting for her brushstrokes. She needed to gather stories, to listen. The folder felt heavy in her hands, yet it also pulsed with possibility. It was full of facts and figures, but it was also full of lives intertwined with her own, longing for change. She got dressed and headed to the kitchen. The aroma of coffee filled the air, grounding her in the present. Jake joined her, his cheerful demeanor a welcome sight. Morning. Ready to tackle the day? Kelly poured herself a cup, grateful for his endless optimism. I guess so. Just trying to figure out what to say when we meet. Jake leaned against the counter, studying her. Why not just be honest? Talk about the struggles, the hopes. Dive right in. Yeah, but what if they don't take me seriously? What if they think I'm just some kid playing pretend? Her voice quivered, revealing the cracks in her confidence. He moved closer, placing his hand on her shoulder. You're not pretending, Kelly. You care, and that matters. Don't underestimate that. She nodded, the familiar warmth from his support wrapping around her. With a slight smile, she felt her resolve strengthen. After breakfast, she stepped outside. The town was stirring, the gentle sounds of life awakening around her. Strangers exchanged smiles as they walked by, a sense of familiarity comforting her nerves. Today, she would be their voice. She decided to start with the local diner. It was a gathering place, a microcosm of the community. As she entered, the smell of eggs and bacon enveloped her. She spotted familiar faces, some smiling and waving, others deep in conversation. Hey, everyone! She called, feeling a rush of determination. Can I have a moment of your time? A hush fell over the room, a collective curiosity. She took a deep breath, pushing back the waves of doubt threatening to crash over her. I'm trying to gather thoughts and ideas for our meeting tonight. I want to know what matters to you all. One of the older patrons, Mr. Thompson, frowned. What do you mean? What makes you think you can represent us? Kelly's heart raced, the weight of his question heavy in the air. I don't want to represent anyone, I just want to understand. We're all in this together, and your voices deserve to be heard. The diner hummed with murmurs. Slowly, people began to share. Stories of jobs lost, families struggling, dreams deferred. Each word was a flicker of a flame, igniting her spirit further. Every voice was a thread woven into the fabric of the town, and she felt the pulse of their shared experience. As the discussions grew more passionate, Kelly felt like she was tapping into something powerful, something that hadn't had a chance to surface before. They were rising together, uniting in their hopes and fears. After an hour of conversations, she left the diner feeling more alive than ever. The folder felt lighter, now filled not just with facts, but with the essence of her community. Each story was a piece of fuel for the fire they needed to ignite, but as she walked back home, her pulse racing, a chill of uncertainty gripped her. Was it too much to hope that this gathering would truly lead to change? Tonight, they would come together. Tonight, she would lead. But in truth, would anyone really listen? The weight of that question lingered, heavy yet oddly liberating, as the shadow of doubt loomed over the horizon. The evening had a magical hue to it, the setting sun casting golden rays over Main Street. Kelly stood outside the community center, her heart beating like a drum. The air bristled with anticipation. Tonight was a pivotal moment, not just for her, but for the entire town. The crowd was gathering, people chatting, sharing stories that had remained silenced for far too long. As she stepped inside, she felt the electricity in the room. Familiar and unfamiliar faces alike, united for a common cause. She scanned the crowd, and there was Jake, standing tall, his presence a lighthouse amidst her stormy sea of nerves. Are you ready? He asked, walking towards her, an encouraging smile lighting up his face. As ready as I'll ever be, she replied, though her voice trembled with uncertainty. We can do this together, Kelly. You're not alone, he reassured her, squeezing her shoulder, solid and grounding. The clock struck 6, and the chatter faded into stillness. Kelly looked up at the expectant faces illuminating her worries and fears. Taking a deep breath, she stepped forward into the bright lights, feeling as if the eyes of the whole town were piercing through her. Thank you all for coming tonight, she began, surprised to hear the steadiness in her voice. We all know why we're here. We face challenges that threaten not just our livelihoods, but our very sense of community. A young mother stood up, brow furrowed. What do you propose we do? We can't just sit here. I agree, shouted an older gentleman, his fists clenched in determination. Kelly felt the energy in the room shift, the urgency that echoed what they all felt. Let us listen to each other. Tonight is about sharing our stories and finding a way forward together. I've started to gather some thoughts from folks around town, but I want to hear from you, she called out, her resolve hardening. As people began to share, one voice after another merged into a chorus of hope, fear, and unyielding determination. The woman spoke of a father who lost his job. The retiree shared worries for the future of the youth without a school in town. Each story was raw, filled with emotion, unveiling the very heart of what made them a community. Then, a familiar voice spoke. It was Sarah, speaking passionately. We shouldn't just react. We need a plan. We need to rally, to let those in charge know that we won't back down. The room erupted in agreement, fists raising in unity. That's when Kelly felt it, the undeniable surge of hope. They were in this together, all of them. I've been thinking of organizing a petition, she spoke up, each word flowing with purpose. But we need everyone's voices. What if we stand outside the town hall next week to show our commitment? Letters, meetings, we can engage the press. The room roared with applause, excitement rippling through every person gathered. Jake caught her eye, pride shimmering within him, fueling her spirit further. As the meeting progressed, Kelly felt the burdens she had carried begin to lighten. There was laughter, camaraderie, bonds once fractured now stitched together tighter than before. She felt renewed, the weight of fear was transformed into a foundation of collective action. As the night wore on, she found herself at the center of this whirlwind of change, realizing that she was no longer just a part of the community. She was a voice, a thread weaving their stories into a tapestry of resilience, but even as joy painted over her fears, a shadow of doubt crept in. What if they couldn't make it work? Just as she was about to voice her concern, Jake stepped forward. No matter what, we'll find a way, Kelly. We're family, and we'll face this together. As he spoke those words, she felt the thrill of possibilities rise within her. This wasn't just about them anymore, it was about everyone, the town, their shared stories. They could fight for their future. After an hour of discussions, brainstorming intensified. The energy in the room was palpable, and promises of action blossomed. Every person, every story, every voice was now part of something bigger. As the meeting concluded, someone raised their hand shyly. It was a teenager from the back. Can we do this again? Let us keep fighting. Yes. Kelly shouted, her voice ringing clear, resonating with resolution. This is just the beginning. With a renewed sense of hope, they gathered together, arms across shoulders as laughter echoed around them. It was more than just a meeting, it was the birth of unity. When Kelly stepped outside, the cool night air washed over her. The stars twinkled overhead, each one reflecting her hope. She looked at Jake, whose bright smile mirrored her elation. We did it, Kelly said breathlessly. But it's just the beginning, he replied, and they both knew. They had awakened a spirit that would not easily be dimmed. Kelly's heart swelled as she realized the path before them was no longer filled with isolation but connected by a tapestry of voices ready to rise. And as she faced the future, she carried with her the love of her son, the support of her friends, and the iron will of her community. They were on a journey of transformation together, and nothing would stand in their way. Now is the time for you to take action. You need to subscribe now to this channel. Don't miss exclusive stories like this one. Leave a like right now to fuel the algorithm and share in the excitement. Comment below with your feelings about this ending. How do you feel about this transformation? And share this video instantly with at least 5 friends who need to see this story of hope and unity. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second to share.